Hi everyone, Jamie here. Welcome to Core and More, and thank you for pressing play. For our class today, it will be about 30 minutes long. You might want to have a mat, and it's optional and definitely not required to have a pair of dumbbells. I'm going to about 5 pounds. You might go a little lighter. I wouldn't go too heavy. We're doing movements like side planking with weight if you choose to do so. Again, you do not need weights to participate in class today. When you're ready, go ahead and join me. We'll start off in a quadruped position, so a flat back tabletop. You'll have your hands right below your shoulders, your knees directly below your hips. That's how we know we're in what's called a neutral spine. I'll say that a lot today in our class. So as we start here, notice the alignment. Our core is slightly engaged, and our back again stays flat. We'll start here with the opposite arm and opposite leg. So you can take your left arm and your right leg and extend. For the purpose of today's class, I am mirroring you, so my right is your left is my right. Let's go ahead and switch to the other side. Right arm, left leg, extend. So this is called a bird dog. Let's try that again. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Inhale, and exhale right back down. Let's do that one more time. Opposite arm, opposite leg, feeling the core engage. Come on back into your flat back position, and we're gonna break that neutral. Drop the belly down, lift the chin up. This gives your abdominals a chance to stretch out. On your next breath, let's go ahead and round the back. And let's do that one more time. A little bit of a stretch to warm up our spine. And to, of course, warm up our core. And we round. All right, friends, from here, let's go ahead and find our way back into that tabletop position and step 1 foot back at a time. This is what I will refer to today as your high plank position. High plank meaning you're on your hands versus your forearms, which you'll see today. As you start off in your high plank position, core is engaged, so you're flexing your abs. Keep your hands directly below your shoulders and spread out all 10 fingertips. As we start off here in our high plank, we'll practice by breathing in through the nose and slowly out through the nose or mouth. Now when you're in your plank today, if you notice this is a little too much too soon, you are welcome to take what's called option 1. Your knees are down to the mat, hands stay exactly where they were when you started. So again, this is your first option today, and this will be your second option in high plank. When you're ready for a little bit more today, we're going to add on. So when you are ready, go ahead and join me. We'll take that right leg off the earth, then back down. Again, squeezing at the glutes, back down to the earth, and we'll do that one more time. Let's go ahead and switch to your other leg. Core stays engaged. If you're in option 1, you might be on your knees. Doing the same thing, lifting the leg, right back down one more time to make 3. And we move up to our arms. Let's go ahead and take your left arm off the earth. Maybe you're in first option like I'm demoing right here, or perhaps you are on your toes. We do want to keep the hips from shifting side to side. Go ahead and switch to your other side. Core engaged. Body heating up. That's the purpose of the warm-up, to get our body ready for what's to come. And from here, we'll slowly roll our way back into a child's pose, a stretch that you commonly see in a yoga practice, and this will give your back a break. So anytime today in Core and More, if you need a breather, you can come on a rest or take this stretch. Okay, friends, when you're ready, let's go ahead and find our way back into our high plank. From high plank, hands below shoulders. Option 1, knees down. Option 2, on your toes. Here is option 3 today. Let's take that opposite arm, opposite leg. Your left hand and your right leg off the earth, back down. Inhale, squeeze, back down once more and lift. Let's switch, other side. Opposite arm, opposite leg. And of course, anything I do on my toes can be done with the knees down. So we're taking it to a triple pulse. And of course, since it is your training, you can scale this. You can do singles, you can do doubles. Let's take that one more time. At your preference, 3 per side. Trying to maintain that flat back, neutral spine, and one more time. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, friends, go ahead and work your way. Find yourselves onto your back. As you're laying down, before we go further, we want to establish a neutral spine while laying down. It sounds pretty straightforward, but here's a great way to test that. Let's take both hands onto the floor and see if you can slide it underneath the small of your back. If you notice that there is maybe some space, we're going to posterior tuck and get our back as flat as we can without pain or discomfort. That is our flat back, our core hopefully slightly engaged. Let's take our fingertips to our temple. It's going to be the opposite arm, opposite leg. So with your left elbow to your right knee, we'll rotate through the torso. And let's switch. So in option 1 today, you might take this, especially if you're new to class. Or maybe when you're doing certain movements in your core, you identify with having back pain. So this is a position that I would recommend for you. Now, maybe you say to me, Jamie, I think I want a little bit more. Then you are here next, legs in tabletop position. That's going to be knees, again, right above the hips. Legs parallel to the floor. And this time you'll add a kick, rotation through your upper spine to the side and extend. And what we're looking for here is to encourage rotation through our trunk, through our torso, while we strengthen our core. Now, how are we doing that? Remember that our core includes, but it's not limited to, our abs and back. Some of my friends in our class today may even say, I feel this in my hip flexor. You know, that's not uncommon. Your hips are being used right here to bend and extend those legs. So keep on going, side, center, side. Again, let's go for 4 more per side and extend. 3 more per side and reach. So we'll start our class today in a slow motion pattern. If you want a little more, you're welcome to do more, but remember, fast is not the name of the game. When it comes to building your core, slow is the new fast. That's what's going to get you to engage a little more. On this next breath, we'll go ahead and have our hands right to our sides. It might be preference to have your hands at the small of your back. So again, play with what's most comfortable. We'll extend both legs towards the sky. From here, we'll take that left leg and slowly drop it down towards the earth. Maybe you say, right here is where I want to stop because my back stays neutral. Perhaps you go further. So up to you. Do try to avoid hitting the floor. We want to maintain that tight torso. And again, this opposite leg up towards the air. Straight, but not locked. And let's switch. So as we practice a leg drop, not so much we're forcing the lift up, but we're controlling the leg down. We want to test if we can maintain that tight torso with control of our leg. Let's do this for 4 more per side. And again, for 3, and lift. 2 more per side, 2, and up once more, opposite leg. And we can give both legs a breather right here. We'll do something a little bit more traditional. Maybe you've done this before. Fingertips to your temples, so maybe not behind your head. We'll start off at the temples so that you're able to demand more from your core. On this next breath, we're taking it to a crunch. Now notice in crunch, we want to keep the neck somewhat long. Not so much that we're curving at the cervical spine, but we're thinking space between our ears and shoulders. And back down. As you're crunching today, you'll crunch enough so that your shoulder blades lift up off the earth. You'll crunch to a tempo that you're most confident with. And of course, as you are crunching, you'll notice the engagement from your abdominals, your waist. So let's go here for another 10, 9, in 8, light neck, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and we'll slowly go back to what we just did. We're going to add the legs. So again, both legs up. You can choose either side, or you can come with me, take your left leg down. Maybe you're halfway, maybe you're an inch above the earth. Core stays engaged, fingertips to temple, and let's crunch it up again. Engagement through the core. So again, as you're crunching, we're going for about 20 per side, and as you do this, you choose the tempo. It might be slower than I'm demonstrating. It might be faster. Just remember, faster is not always better, especially when it comes to the core. For 10, 9, 8, 7, in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, let's switch, other leg. So again, both legs can start off extended. You'll drop your right leg down. Perhaps you stop halfway. Maybe you come lower. Do avoid hitting the floor. When we hit the floor, that puts our back in that same arched position that we are trying to avoid for this exercise. So when you're ready, let's go ahead and take our fingertips back to our forehead as we crunch up. Again, about 20 crunches per side. And as you're moving, are we able to get those shoulder blades off the earth consistently? And that's a good measure to know how much we're able to use our waist. 10 more. 9, 8, 7, 6, in 5, 4, 3, 2, and all right, let's go ahead and work our way back to where we just were, into our high plank. Friends, if you said to me that in high plank, this is actually bothersome to your wrist, everything I do on high plank today, it can be done on your forearms. So please feel free to come on here. In a forearm plank, your shoulders would be right above your elbow. Your shoulders also aligned with those hips. Option 1 would look similar, knees down. Option 2, you would be on your toes. So maybe you choose to be here with the triple pulse, 3, 2, 1. Or you might go to the first movement that we did today, which is high plank. So friends, pick your option. Option 1, knees down, 2, 3, and switch. 3, 2, or maybe you are right up in high plank. So again, remember, this is up to you. Keeping your shoulders above your wrist, keeping your hips aligned with your shoulders. Let's go for one more set per side. 3, 2, and 1. Let's switch for 3, 2, and 1. All right, from here, go ahead and work your way back onto your back. We're doing one more set of those L position crunches. So maybe you say, I don't like having my legs split. You can stay right here. Or maybe you're taking first option, or really anywhere along the way. So don't let me stop you into thinking there's only 3 positions. There's many positions your leg can be in. When you are ready, let's first establish a flat back, our core engaged, fingertips to said temples. And here we go, 20 crunches. Shoulder blades off the earth. Exhaling when it's tough. Inhale, exhale. So again, are you able to feel your waist contracting? And not so much your lower back compensating. 10 more. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and let's switch to the other leg. Both legs up. Perhaps you stay right here, or lower, or lower. When you are ready, last set on this last leg, and then we're gonna switch it up. When you're ready, shoulder blades off the earth. Hello, crunches. So I mentioned earlier, it is not just our waist. Do you feel that opposite hip flexor strengthening? It's an isometric hold that you're building strength even without moving that leg. 10 more. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and we take a breather. Come on down, staying on your back. You can move your feet wider than your hips. A little bit of a breather, and we'll give our hips a chance to open. With both knees, you'll move off to one side. You're creating some rotation into the hip flexors. And you can switch to the other side. Let's take this to one more per direction. Hip flexors and groin opening. And that's an area that's included in what we might define as the core as well. It's into our hips, an area that gets tight, but when strengthened, very powerful. Let's come on back down to our flat back. So speaking of the hips, let's go ahead and keep our knees bent, our heels directly below the knees. What you'll do here is focus on bringing both hips up towards the sky. With your arms at your side, squeeze the glutes, lift the hips upward towards the sky, feeling the space below your hips, and we'll slowly bring the hips right back down. Squeezing those glutes, hips up, glute bridge, and hips right back down. Let's do that one more time. This is option 1. On this next breath, here's what you might do. Pick up that left foot off the earth, pushing into that opposite heel. We lift, single leg bridge, right back down. So maybe you're staying in first option, then you have both feet on the floor. If you're in second option, or with one leg lifted, we're going for 10 total per side. Now, if you're doing the second option, and this feels bothersome to your back, or even the knee that's on the floor, then maybe what you'll do is regress back down to first option. For 4 more, back down. For 3, again. For 2, once more, hips high. Let's switch Or you're doing a second round with both feet down. And notice that when I lift the opposite leg, there's no need to kick your leg out to the sky. Barely off the floor is enough. From here, pushing into that bottom heel, again, not quite lifting the heel, but pushing that heel down, we get both hips up simultaneously. So looking for about 10 per side. If you're on first option, then maybe you're on a second set. That's great. Now what are we building here? Hip extension, stretching the front of the hip, but also strengthening our posterior chain, the hamstrings, the glutes. Let's go for 5 more. Back down for 4. Again, for 3. In 2. Once more. Excellent. From here, let's go ahead and slowly roll our way off to the side. So I'll face you, maybe you'll face your screen so you can see in this first round what it is we're doing. We're going into side plank next. In side plank, we'll start with that elbow directly below the shoulders. Now I'll demonstrate with first option so that your knees will stack. From here, we get both hips off the earth, and we're looking for alignment. Top shoulder above bottom shoulder, top hip above bottom hip. And maybe you're reaching your right arm up towards the sky. So here we are, starting in side plank modified. Hips off the earth, glute squeeze, arm extended. Maybe you're ready for a little bit more. Top leg off the earth. Now we're going to focus on an isometric hold, holding that bottom hip and lifting that top leg. You might feel this in the top outer glute of that lifted leg. That's okay. Let's hold here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and slowly come on down. So maybe you want a little bit more. You can come with me. If you want to do that again, you'll start off in modified option. Maybe you add the leg. If you want to, we're gonna stack the feet. Now perhaps you have shoes on. I noticed that with shoes, it does make it a little easier to stack the feet. So you're welcome to have that option instead. Otherwise, we're pushing ourselves off the earth, arm up. Maybe I lift the top leg. Maybe I don't. So here's option, I'll call this option 2. So if you want a little more, you can use the dumbbell in the top hand. And if you notice this is straining to your neck, then maybe you don't need to look up or forward. You could look down or nix the weight. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and let's come on down. Okay, so that's a little tutorial on side planking 101. Why don't you pick the option that serves you best? And we're going to go there next for 30 seconds. So again, you're welcome to take option 1, option 2, or I'll call this option 2, maybe it's 1, 1.5, or 2. You can hold here, or maybe you're adding legs. So take your time getting set up. Time starts now. And as you're holding this position, remember that we're not looking to hold here at rush time. While you're here in alignment, you know what you want to feel? You want to feel present. Tension in the core, but not in the neck. So maybe you look down. Listen to your body. There shouldn't be much strain. If you feel this in the bottom shoulder, maybe you're lifting yourself up and away versus crashing down into that bottom shoulder. Keep holding. You're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and come on down. Okay. What we do on one side, we'll do on the next. So come on with me as we start off in that forearm position. Option 1, hips off the floor. So just because you are in a particular option on your first side, it doesn't automatically guarantee that you'll want that for your second side. But I do encourage to stick to the same variation. So maybe you said, I want to be in option 1 or option 1.5, right? Pick the option that you did already and let's try it with this other side. And if it feels like it's too much, of course, regress. If it feels like you're ready for more instead, stay here a little longer so we can establish alignment. If you want a bit more, we're stacking our feet or adding that top leg. Hips facing forward. When you're ready, time starts. Now we're going for 30 seconds of the hold. Top arm up, hips are lifted. Maybe you grab a dumbbell, maybe you don't. And again, alignment from hips to shoulders. You can look forward, up, or totally look down. Let's hold here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and come on down. We're going to repeat back to the glute bridge sequence. So notice we're doing these 2 movements back to back. It's called a superset. So this is your second time doing this exercise. Maybe in the second round, you say, I think I have a better idea of what it should feel like. So perhaps you progress, but if you know that you did this and this wasn't your favorite, maybe you go back to first option. So heels below the knees. Knees as wide as the hips, arms at your side. Option 1, my friends, we are here. A good old glute bridge. Now, where should I be feeling this? I get that question a lot for this exercise. Janie, where should I feel this? There are a couple ways to feel this, and there's no one right answer. It might be a stretch in the front of the hip. It might be strengthening the back of the glutes, or even in the hamstrings. So oftentimes when we're doing these movements, we can go through the motions and breathe, and that'll do something for us physically. But I invite you to even think about mentally, do you feel what your brain tells your body to do? Is it a squeeze? Is it a push? All right, friends, if you're ready for our next set, maybe we're doing single leg. Up again. So we're now on our second set. If you're on option 1, or maybe you've been doing single leg the whole time. So again, we're going for hip extension at the top, 10 per leg. If you love this one, maybe you do more. Let's go for 5, in 4, in 3, good, 2, and let's switch. And recall that with the opposite leg, there's no need to lift up towards the sky. That will make more work than necessary. So what we'll do is take that foot off the earth slightly. It can be less than that, up to you. Pushing into that bottom heel, squeezing the glutes again. We're going for about 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and all right. Let's work our way off to the side. So again, either side's okay. We'll start off in side plank. So now that we know what option 1, or option 1.5, I should say, or 2 or 2.5 looks like, pick one. And you know, it doesn't have to be the hardest option for this to be a very beneficial class for you or movement for you. So I invite you to take maybe not a comfortable option, but maybe an option where you're comfortable, but you still feel your muscles engaging. Time starts now. We are going for 30 seconds. And again, while you're holding, we're not thinking of time passing. We're thinking every second of this duration, can we keep alignment? Hips aligned, shoulders aligned. How is my neck? Does it feel better to look down or up? Can you still breathe deeply? Are you feeling stressed out? If so, that's okay. Sometimes exercise does that to people, but hopefully it brings you some stress relief. So take it to a notch where you can feel that. Stay holding here for 3, in 2, and come on down. Okay, other side. So which option do you choose? There are so many ways to do this. And of course, if you want to add those weights, you can. It was optional for practice or for training today. So first, 1.5, second, or half like you choose. Here are our 30 seconds. So oftentimes, you know, when we hold, it's so easy to feel passive in a movement, but instead think active. This is an isometric hold, which means that although there's no movement, there's still a lot of contraction happening in our muscles. There's still a lot of strength to be had. So that's what we do here. We resist the urge to plop to the earth. Instead, we push up, we lift up for 4, 3, 2, come on down. Okay, party crew. So far we've worked on building our core from the front of our body to the back, even the sides. Come on down, we're gonna lay on our stomach next. This next portion of core training, I mentioned earlier that our core includes, but it's not limited to our abs and our back. What we wanna feel also is what's called the posterior chain. When I think of posterior chain, I think upper back, middle back, lower, and beyond. So what we wanna practice here is helping our postural muscles. Let's do a little bit of some opening. Elbows below shoulders. And we'll start here. Can we create space in the front of our body? We'll go ahead and look up to the sky and look right back down. Let's do that one more time. Looking up to the sky and looking right back down. So next, I invite you to go ahead and find a neutral neck. What does that mean? it means that your neck is neither looking up like we just did, nor is your head turning down like we just did. Let's find an in-between so that our neck is long. When I'm here, let's start by squeezing the glutes. That's your butt. Let's start by pulling our shoulders back. Now from here, we can come on back down. Let's see if we can mimic that same movement in our upper torso. And this time, adding our hands. Let's bring those hands again, let's say to our temple or even further back. Just try not to grab the back of the head just yet. What we want to feel is, again, lifting up, not pushing down. So here we go, fingertips to temple, squeezing at the glutes, extension through the back. Notice my head, I'm not looking up to the sky nor down, I'm looking directly in front of me, so the back of my neck is long. So as we are here, also in isometric hold, a time for us to build strength in our back without adding much movement. Now you might feel the need to want to lift the legs. That's okay, as long as you are squeezing the glutes. But for the purpose of this baseline movement, let's try to keep the feet down if it's available for you. Now as you're holding here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, come on down. Catch your breather. We'll do that again, and on this next round, we're going to take it from a movement where we hold to a movement of repetition. So we'll go up and down. Fingertips to temple, squeezing the glutes. Inhale, extension. Exhale, back down. Again, let's lift, neutral neck, and back down. Feeling the back of the body build from glutes to mid to upper back down. And we lift. Let's go for another 4 more here. In 4, in 3, in 2, isometric hold here. Maybe you're ready for a little more. If that's you, maybe you extend your arms up off the earth. Maybe you're bringing your arms so they're up and lifted. If that feels like too much strain, you can always go back to where you were and take it here for another 4 breaths. For 3, for 2, and we slowly come on down. All right, quick stretch before we take it next. Into the forearm plank, elbows below shoulders, like we were at the very beginning of our training today. Knees down, first option, second option, on those toes. So here, we're going to practice the movement of staying still, isometric hold. And that was kind of our theme throughout our training today. So here we find that neutral spine. Do you remember that at the start of practice? So here we are in a flat back. Can we maintain this by tightening up our waist? Can we maintain this by squeezing out our glutes, pushing into our heels? As we're holding here, again, we're resisting the urge or desire to fall down towards the earth, but instead resist gravity using our strength. Let's hold here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and come on down. Friends, let's take it back one more time. Back extension to your position. So maybe you say, I like the option where I had my fingertips to my temple. Or maybe you said, I like the option where I'm lifting and adding the arms. There are so many ways to do this. So I invite you, we're gonna hold here for 30 seconds. First option or second option. With your neck long, with your upper back engaging, with your lower back engaging, and even your hips anchoring down toward the earth. We feel how maintaining stability in one area affects other regions of our body. Continue holding here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. Take a breather. We take it to repetitions next. So not staying still, but moving our spine upward towards the sky and back down. Fingertips to temple. We're going up high, lift. Back down we go for 10 reps. Maybe you add the arms. Neck long and down. Again, you're welcome to bring the feet up or down so long as your glutes, your trunk is engaged. Keep going for 4, for 3, for 2. All right. Let's take it to our final for our arm plank. Elbows right below shoulders. Knees down, first option. Second option, on your toes. And again, as we hold in this final hold, we think active. That as time passes, that's on our side, we use that to our advantage of engaging the muscles, of actively pushing into the ground, creating a stiff body with just the contraction of our muscles. Continue with that breath. Holding here for 5, for 4, for 3, 2, and we slowly come on down. We'll go ahead and find a deeper stretch for the abdominals by looking up towards the sky. If your back allows, hands below shoulders, lifting the hips a little further forward than up. From here, rounding your hips down towards your heels to round out through the lower back. And go ahead and find your way back into center. Thank you all so much for joining me today for Core and More. I hope to see you again next time. Thank you.